Okay, welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And obviously the big item in the news, Dr. Lopkin, is the Synagogue shooting. Horrific event. What does it say about the state of the country in terms of racism, race relations, and anti-Semitism?
It's absolutely a horrific event. It was the worst attack on Jews in this country's history. And, certainly our hearts go out to everybody affected by it. And unfortunately,
no question about it.
Over the last few years, there has been quite a growth in anti-Semitism, not just here, but around the world.
What do you think its origins are?
I don't know what the origins are. The Jews have unfortunately always been a group that gets blamed for things. The thing is now, traditionally everybody thinks of anti-Semitism as, the Nazis, the ultra right wing, but now it's coming from the left as well. And the Jewish community is caught between the extremes of both parties.
I think I agree 100%. No question about it. I also think it's fueled on by the growth of the anti-Israeli sentiments. I think it doesn't help.
No, that certainly doesn't help. We had, under Obama, 8 years of the most anti-Israeli government we've ever seen in this country.
No question.
Attacks on Jews, just in terms of free speech, has gotten worse and worse. Last year, the gay lesbian parade in Chicago banned Jews from carrying their banner because it had a Star of David. This year, not only did they ban Jews from carrying the Star of David, but they allowed people to carry the Palestinian flag.
Yes, the left, here's the problem. Trump's going to get associated with this wave, with this violent wave, this despicable act in Pittsburgh. He's actually the strongest pro-Israeli president maybe ever, besides maybe Truman or Reagan, but definitely I'd say the strongest. I think the left is exceptionally good at spinning things the way they like to. Trump had nothing to do with it. The guy was a kook.
Well, not only was the guy a kook, the guy was an anti-Trump kook. He hated Trump.
Then why isn't it reported in the news that he was anti-Trump?
A couple of places did report it, but they treat it as, well, that's besides the point because it doesn't match the story they want to tell.
Okay, because, I hate to say it, it's news to me, and I think that's rather shocking because he is getting blamed for it. And how stupid is the Jewish community in Pittsburgh for shunning Trump? He had nothing to do with it.
No, he had nothing to do with it. Some major rabbis in New York came out in favor of Trump, came out defending him. Netanyahu over in Israel has been a staunch supporter of the Trump administration. The fact of the matter is, this guy was anti-Trump, anti-Jew, and in fact stated in his statements, and you can find this in some of the news reports, that one of the reasons he attacked the Jews is because he thinks they're controlling Trump.
Okay, so this is all shocking to me because it's not really mainstream. It's not on any of the headlines. We have a press that's corrupt.
We do. The press, unfortunately, the major media has their bias, their agenda, and they're not reporting things that don't match their agenda. Now, again, everything I have said has been reported by CBS, has been reported by NBC, but it's been reported at the end of a story, buried in a story.
Sheepishly. Yes. If he was pro-Trump, it would be headlines.
Absolutely.
So what effect does it have in the midterms? That's huge.
Well, unfortunately, I think it is going to take the wind out of the Republican sails because the media is pushing this narrative that this is all because of Trump. And the facts don't match that narrative.
Yeah, I hopefully it's not going to be enough to flip the House because all races are local, but it will have an effect. Trump, 2 weeks ago, I think he was crushing it. That's no longer the case.
No, in early voting, polls showed heavy Republican turnout, heavy pro-Trump turnout. Now, the last polls I saw, the expectations are that the Democrats will take the House, but the Republicans will gain seats in the Senate.
Well, we will see. The polls have been wrong before.
Yes.
And 2 weeks is a long time. Anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Because I look at when the press conference in Russia or with Putin, then I actually do think that Trump kind of stepped on it, and there was some repercussions. So, and then things kind of straightened out. So we don't know. Paul Ryan's an interesting figure. Why don't you just step aside? He's really very ineffective. He's done nothing to help the Republicans in the midterms. I don't even understand what his agenda is.
Well, he's not running anymore. He's just...
Well, I know that.
He's just, taking out his time.
Then get out of the way.
I mean, Paul Ryan is a self-described policy wonk. That's how he described himself. His whole thing is about the nuts and bolts of policy.
He's a horrible leader. I remember when he was running as vice president along with Romney. Okay, Romney did well on the first debate. He screwed up the other two. But I thought, okay, Ryan, he's up against Biden. He's going to kick Biden's butt. Biden destroyed him.
See, the problem with Paul Ryan actually is a very intelligent person. If you look at the nuts and bolts of his policy, he has these things nailed. He is a horrible politician. So he doesn't campaign well. He doesn't lead well.
That's what I'm saying. He should have never been. No, he should have never been Speaker of the House.
See, I disagree with you on that. He should have been Speaker of the House, and they should have listened to him, because from a policy standpoint, he knows what he's doing and he knows what needs to be done. He doesn't communicate it well, though.
Okay, he's not for the wall.
They should have backed him up.
Okay, he's not for the wall. Trump needs the wall. I think that was a big problem. What do you think?
No, I think the wall is a distraction. He's doing so many other good things. If the wall falls by the wayside and we get decent immigration policy, who cares if it's an actual wall?
I would agree, but to his die-in-the-wall supporters, we don't know. Your prediction is, you really do think that the House flips and Pelosi gets in?
I don't know. Again, we've still got a week to go. We've got, and the polls keep changing over and over again. At this point, almost everything is within the margin of error. So we're literally down to a coin flip as to whether and which party will take the House. At this point, it doesn't look like the Democrats have any chance of taking the Senate.
Oh, no, I know that. I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah, but it's down to a coin flip whether they'll take the House or not.
Well, we won't have that on the next Carnivore Bites. It'll be too soon, but we'll be having more information. So until next time, we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. See you then.
You've been listening to Carnivore Radio's podcast. You can catch us here every week. Carnivore Radio is part of the Xvadio podcast network. You can listen to the podcast at blogtalkradio.com/Xvadio. If you want to be part of the conversation, you can listen to us live every Friday at 4 o'clock on WESU 88.1 Middletown, Connecticut. You can also catch us online at WESUFM.org. We look forward to hearing from you, and see you next week.